Welcome back to the Tears Take. I am recapping the Real Housewives of Miami, season 7, episode 8. It's called Dueling Yachts. This episode definitely made me laugh a few times out loud. Thank you for that, Adriana. We had some fabulousness. We had some rich people doing rich people things, houses, boats, private jets, you name it. And this is what we watch Miami for. So I'm excited to dive in. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I really want to hear your thoughts and how you're feeling about the season. I was a little, I was a lot, I was turned off a lot with the Guerdy Julia back and forth. And while we still are seeing the remnants of that, I hope that it's coming to a close. I can't stand Julia. I am completely off her. So, there's that, but I just hope we get I hope things turn. And I felt a little bit of a turn this episode because a lot of the emphasis wasn't on them. So, with all that said, let's dive in. All right, so episode opens with Julia. Bravo, why do you insist on opening the episodes with Julia? I feel like some of the past episodes, I'm just like, ugh, why? Ugh. Anyway, we open up with Julia. She's still upset because Guerdy aired her behind out with her text receipts that she had, basically showing everyone, the fraud that Julia is, even though the rest of the cast didn't care to look into that. We'll get to that a little later. But, that's why Julia is still upset. So she's talking to Martina about it. And here goes Martina. Oh, it's a good thing I wasn't there. Bish, what were you finna do? Please let us know, Martina. So in that same conversation, they kind of pivot from talking about Guerdy, and Julia brings up Adriana. And she's like, Adriana didn't really back me up as much as I thought she would. I wonder if she resents me because I'm close with Alexia and Marysol. I still don't believe that friendship, by the way, but okay, girl. Then we get a scene with Stephanie, and she is at her construction site of a new home. It's not being built, but it has been completely gutted. Her husband, Masood, used to live there with an ex-wife of his, and so she just wants to clear everything out. She wants to put her personal touch on it. For all the money that she's spending, she is aware that she could have bought a new property, but for some reason, her man is still tied to that property. I would wonder why, especially if he lived there with another ex. But anyway, so I guess they're compromising and keeping the property, but just completely redoing it. Child, this house is 22,000 square feet, 40-foot ceilings. Her personal closet is 1,000 square feet. Damn. I hope she sticks around long enough so we can see the finished product, because that sounds insane. I can't even conceptualize that much house, especially just for those two, because she doesn't want kids, right? Anyway, so Larsa comes to take a walk through the house and see the progress, and Alexia is still reeling from going head to head with Alexia at Guerdy's event. So because Stephanie didn't take a hard stance against Guerdy, Alexia was like, oh, you go back in and you're kissing her behind and don't be out here with us. Go back in there and be with her then. And they also went head to head a few times because Stephanie was bringing up the fact that the narcissist party was a Todd party, and Alexia just didn't like that. So they always just kind of jab at each other and take offense with one another. It's more so Alexia taking offense to everything. She, I believe, is very jealous of Nicole. Look, Freudian slip, because I was saying that Alexia is jealous of Stephanie, but it's in the same vein that Alexia was jealous of Dr. Nicole. She is younger, she is married, she is wealthy, and she is pretty much all the things that Alexia is not. So that venom that she had towards Dr. Nicole, it is now pointed to Stephanie. And clock me if you disagree. I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know down below what you think, but my mind is made up right now. That's where we're at with this. If things change in the season, we shall see. But right now, as of episode 8, Alexia is jealous. So anyways, we'll talk about that a little bit more later, but spoiler alert, that's my opinion on the Alexia versus Stephanie feud. So anyway, so as you know, Stephanie is kind of recalling what happened with Alexia at Guerdy's event to Larsa. She's like, oh my God, is Alexia always like that? I mean, I just have to say, I haven't had any fun at any event, that I've gone to with you ladies. Like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, girl, have you not watched the show? Like, is Alexia always like that? Watch the show, honey. She's been on, this whole time. Oh, you guys don't have fun at events? Have you, like, this is Bravo, this is Housewives. Stop playing with me. This is reality TV. We know the formula by now, okay? We know drama is going to happen at events. Then we're going to split apart and talk about said drama. Then we're going to get back together and have more drama. And it's rinse and repeat. Stop playing with me. People that come on reality TV, stop playing with me right now. I just didn't know it was going to be so much drama. Stop. Okay? You're here for a check. You're here for a platform. And you're clearly willing to sacrifice, peace of mind and get into a little bit of drama to get the check and the clout and the platform. It's a give and take. Stop acting so shocked that people are on a successful reality show and there's drama and chaos and conflict. Stop it. It's lame. Anyway, so Larsa is like, yeah, those were those events, but we do have a yacht party that Kiki and I are throwing, and that's going to be great. It's going to be a good time. We're not planning on having drama. Famous last words. Basically, we get a flashback of Kiki and Larsa planning this party and just kind of deciding, okay, who's going to be on whose yacht, and I'll take this person. That person doesn't like person, so they're just trying to divide up who they want on each yacht, right? And then, during this process of figuring out where everyone's going to go, they call Marysol and they're like, hey, you're going to be on a yacht with blah, 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 and Adriana. And here goes Marysol. I can't be with her, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, girl, this little beef is so old, dry, and tired. I forget why y'all even have beef, but then we get a flashback of some of the things that Adriana has done and said to Marysol. And I feel like the flashback was a bit one-sided because I don't recall Adriana just going out of her way to hurt and embarrass people. I think she definitely retaliates, and she retaliates hard, and she can go low, and she can do the most. I'm not saying she's like some upstanding angel, but I also just don't remember Adriana going out of her way to purposely hurt people. I think a lot of her reaction is retaliatory. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But anyways, and I think it's funny, but it might be because I don't really care for Marysol, so I might be biased in that way of girl, get over it. But anyway, we see why Marysol has a problem with Adriana. It's I don't know why she hangs on to that, but I feel like she will move on with other people. So, anyway, so she, gets moved over to Larsa's boat. Okay. So then we move over to Alexia. She is in a brand new rental. She's hanging out with her boys, and, Frankie was recently in the hospital, and that just triggered memories for Alexia and Peter. And so they were just talking about that of it just really just, pulled back, that dark time when Frankie was in the hospital as a child. Frankie was, just really sweet and just trying to get them to not go into that dark place. The thing that surprised me in this scene is that Peter's only 32. Honey. Oh Lord. You that's a rough 32. Peter, get it together, honey, because I was so that was my takeaway from that scene. I was like, oh my God. So then this was probably my favorite scene, or one of my favorite scenes of the episode. Guerdy is meeting up with Dr. Nicole, and Dr. Nicole comes in, honey, with some sea green pumps and a matching Birkin. And I'm just like, yes, Dr. Nicole. because she knows how to do it. So she comes on the scene. We give it a little bit of a life update. So, she obviously gave birth. Her baby was in NICU for a time, but now she is just doing great. They actually call Stephanie. We heard that Stephanie had dated Anthony, and as much as I respect journalism, content creators, communications, like I went to school for, a lot of that stuff. I can't stand like the clickbait and the clickbait aspect of some of those things, because a lot of the things that I have seen and a lot of the headlines I have seen was Dr. Nicole is not returning. Anthony's ex like ran her off the show. Like it was like in that vein. And we see in this scene that could not be farther from the truth. They called her. They hadn't met. They met on the phone. They both were like, yeah, girl, I see why he chose you. They are both happy in their respective relationships. They both acknowledge, hey, we have some things in common. We're successful. We're cute. We're fly. We're fashionable. They were just pretty much giving each other's props, like whatever. Stephanie had like a little light shade saying her plane's bigger, but like that doesn't mean anything, like whatever. But I think overall they were just grown women like, hey girl, like, okay, yes, which I appreciate. There's no reason to be bitter. Y'all are both, like I said, in your separate relationships and doing your own thing. But I feel like a lot of the headlines that I saw anyways was like his ex was brought on the show and there was as if she almost ran her off. And we see here that wasn't even the case. So shout out to Nicole for just like single-handedly squashing that. Maybe she didn't even know it, but she did. Then after they hang up with Stephanie, Guerdy and Dr. Nicole just talk about like the blind loyalty in this group. So basically like people, just because people are friends with who they're friends with, they do not hold each other accountable. They don't call each other out. And, Dr. Nicole and Guerdy were like, man, we can't relate. We call each other out all the time. And Nicole was like, yeah, I didn't like what did she say? Oh, Dr. Nicole like didn't agree with Guerdy, telling everyone that Julia had a facelift while Martina was getting chemo. And I'm like, well, if it was true, it was true, but whatever. but that was just an example of how Nicole had told Guerdy, hey, I didn't like that. I didn't think that was cool. And, Guerdy probably does the same thing for Nicole. Unlike, Marysol and Alexia, for example, they just can never find any fault with each other. They're always backing up each other blindly. And that just causes a dynamic in the group where people aren't held accountable or people are not held to the same standard, which we're seeing play out, right? So, Nicole also says that there's been a shift in Julia since she's been, hanging out with Marysol and Alexia. Julia is not really friends with like the original people she's been friends with. At one point, Guerdy, Nicole, Julia, they were all close. Julia was really good friends with Adriana, and they compared it to like, it's almost like that middle schooler who, discovers like the cool kids for the first time and like kind of ditches everything that they know just to be like up under the cool kids. And I think that's a really good analogy. I think, Julia just gives pick me. She gives a hanger on her. She gives follower. When I tell y'all, I can't stand this woman. I want her off my screen. Yeah, so I agree with that. Okay, so it's yacht day and Lisa brings a friend, Ebony. So I wonder if we're going to get more of her, or if they just needed to like fill up some space because like their side was a little sparse. But maybe we'll get some more of Ebony. She said that Ebony's cool with Kiki and Guerdy, and she's been friends with her for a while. So maybe we'll hear more from her. So Kiki says that the girls, even though they're separate now, the group will come together for dinner. She tells Lisa, who's she? Oh, and then Kiki, here she goes, always feeling the need to bring a bone to someone. Kiki tells Adriana that Marysol was supposed to be on the same boat with them, but she didn't want to be with Adriana. And Adriana's confused. She's like, wait, what? We have a problem? Like, I thought we were fine. Then on the other boat, they continue the fake outrage about Guerdy. And meanwhile, back on Kiki's boat, Adriana is calling Marysol dry. I was like, yeah, well, she gives you dry. Alcohol does dehydrate you. So the groups come together, and Adriana is just not getting her foot off of Marysol's neck. She is like, F this, F you, you're a whore, you're dry, look at them knees. Like, she's clearly drunk. She's clearly pissed that, like, how dare you not want to hang out with me? I don't feel like I did anything wrong to you. Um, Stephanie is trying to say goodbye to the girls because she is having her man pick her up in a separate boat so that they can take a private jet to Canada, honey. I said, okay, I'm not mad at that. For a date night, mind you. So Julia's just trying to like say her, I'm sorry, Stephanie's trying to say her goodbyes. Adriana's talking about Marysol's bony knees and saying that her best friend left her for some mean girls. Again, people probably don't think it's funny. I thought it was funny because where's the lie? So Kiki and the people on her boat, all get some water guns, and they sneak on Marysol's boat and sneak on Lars's boat and escort the girls, and they're just having fun. Of course, Marysol is just such a downer. She's mad and upset. And just always like a mood killer. Julia and Adriana sit down, and Julia asks Adriana why didn't she leave with her when she walked out of Guerdy's event. Why wasn't she there for her? And Adriana says she's trying to mediate, she's trying to hear both sides and see if she can bring them together. And Julia's like, oh, you don't need to do that, you shouldn't be in the middle, like you shouldn't bring us together. That's Guerdy's, responsibility. It's not, like, you started it. But anyway, but when Adriana asked Julia, well, you saw how Marysol and Alexia treated me in New York at the reunion. She said, you saw how they treated me, but yet you went and became good friends with them. So why did you feel the need to do that? Why did you do that instead of standing on my side? And then Julia says, oh, well, I wanted to listen to both sides. I wanted to find out like why they were saying these things. And Adriana's like, exactly. That's what I'm trying to do. So it's like, you want to smack me on the wrist for being a mediator, but then you claim that you're doing the same thing. So then in confessional, Adriana says that Julia started this whole thing, and like compared to and if you compare what like Julia did to Guerdy versus what Guerdy did to Julia, Julia's worse. And I was like, that's true, Adriana, but did you say that to Julia? That would have been like, I feel like Adriana is very straight up in any other case. And I was just like, you should have said that to Julia. Does she know you feel that way? I wish she said that to her face. But anyway, maybe it will come up later. So we get to the dinner scene. Lisa says, I want everyone to go around and say good things about each other. So Adriana says to Marysol, you have great fashion sense. Marysol says, to Adriana, I like that you play the piano. Guerdy, and then Lisa says, okay, Guerdy, you and Julia say something nice about each other. So Guerdy says to Julia, I think she says something about like, you're very compassionate, you have a great heart, something like that. So here goes Julia. She's like, oh, I can't be fake. I can't pretend to, play nice right now. So she brings up like their issues again, and like, why did you show the text messages? And why did you try to embarrass me? Blah, blah, blah. And Guerdy explains to herself, and she's basically like, I didn't feel like anyone was listening. I didn't feel like I had the space and opportunity. So when I did have the space and opportunity to defend myself, I took it pretty much, right? Um, and then here goes Alexia jumping in. Oh, but why'd you do it at your event? And why'd you do it like that? And it's like, girl, mind your business. And, Guerdy was like, I'm not apologizing because I wanted to. It was my event. I'm not apologizing. And why does it affect you? And why does that affect our friendship? I'm dealing with her. Why are we even talking about something that has nothing to do with us right now? I'm talking to Julia about our friendship. And so she shut Alexia right on up. But I'm just like, Alexia, stop. So Guerdy acknowledges, like, hey, I realize that y'all seem to have made up your mind about this situation. You seem to have chosen Julia's side. You don't even want to see my side. You don't even want to read the text messages. You don't even want to give it like a fair approach. And she's like, if that's the case, fine. I realize it. That's great that you guys are really close now. Fine. And they're like, oh no, it's not like that. It's not like that. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So Guerdy kind of like dismisses them and turns back to Julia, and she was just like, hey, clearly we still have some things lingering here. If you want to have a private conversation when emotions calm down, I'm open to doing that. Like, would you like to have a private conversation at some point? Julia says yes. So then the next morning, that food looks so good. Like, I have decided that like for my birthday or my anniversary, something for some celebratory reason, I will be wining and dining on a yacht. I need that in my life. So they wake up in the morning, food looks so good. Adriana is not proud of her drunkenness the night before. We've all been there. Marysol, Alexa, and Larsa call Stephanie, and Stephanie, on the line was like, oh, how's the Rottweiler, in reference to Alexia, because when they were going back and forth earlier, Alexia was like, I don't like that you said I was barking. And then Alexia called Stephanie a little chihuahua. And she's like, well, you're a chihuahua and I'm a Rottweiler. And so she called herself a Rottweiler, right? So when they were on the phone, and I don't think Stephanie knew that Alexia was there, because she looked surprised when Alexia popped on. But she was like, oh, how's the Rottweiler? And then Alexia's like, don't do that. Don't say that. Why are you calling me that? I'm like, oh my God, these women are like so insufferable. And she's like, you called yourself that. I was trying to like be jokey with you, but like, God forbid, like you do anything like that, right? So they just go on and on. And after they hang up with Nicole, my God, I'm doing it again because I'm getting ahead of myself of what I'm going to say. But after they get off the phone with Stephanie, Alexia starts going off like, why is she even worried about me? Why is she calling me names? She keeps coming at my marriage. She keeps coming at me. She keeps jabbing me, blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you're so happy and you're so rich and you have such a perfect life and you have a great marriage, why are you worried about me? And it's like, ooh, you mad. You mad. Why are you pulling, you just, you think about her a lot, huh? Because you pulling up the marriage and the this and the that. And, they weren't talking about any of those things. None of those things were relevant to the comment Rottweiler. Like, let's, and that's clearly top of mind for you. Oh, you just have a great marriage. Fine. You're rich. Like, why are you worried about me? And it's like, you jealous, Pookie, you jealous. Yeah, you're jealous. So that's why you and Marysol, by default, because Marysol is just up your behind, you're going to just have some reason to always have a problem with Stephanie, because she's literally the personification of what you wanted your life to be. And I'm clocking it. Y'all can say I'm wrong if you want, or you can let me know if you agree. But as of now, Alexia, you're jealous, boo-boo. The same venom you had for Dr. Nicole for not doing anything to you, or if she does, one little fraction of the things that you constantly do to people, it's the worst thing in the world. Yeah, that treatment's gonna just pour into Stephanie, because she is literally, at least on the outside and what we are seeing, what you wish you had. And I want to leave it there. So I really appreciate you guys being here, listening to my recap. Please let me know what you agree with, what you don't agree with, how you're feeling about this season. Are you glad that we're kind of turning a corner with this Guerdy and Julia mess, or were you hoping for more? I know I was not. Let me know your thoughts. Yeah, really appreciate you being here. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Mwah! Thanks for watching. Bye.